because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna start off. And in fact, if we could just kind of start with a little bit of breath first, because it's morning time. Some of us are just rolling over. Some of us lied to our boss and said we got an important meeting. Some of us are hiding from our kids. All of us need a little bit of breath. So if we could start with just kind of maybe rolling your shoulders around, rolling them back, and letting yourself kind of just move in your breath for a few moments. So just let yourself get breathy. Feel what it feels like to breathe. Don't think about your breath, don't judge it. Just let yourself breathe in your nose. If you want, out your mouth a few times, and then just try to center your breath in and out of the nose. Say hello to your body as you breathe. Offer fresh, rich, oxygenated blood throughout your body, all body parts, from your toes down to up to your knees, up into your hips, maybe even wiggling your toes, your knees, and your hips around in your seat. Allow breath to help you settle into the body. Move your breath up into your torso, feeling expansion, really connecting with how much space you can take up with your breath, making yourself as large as possible. Feeling the expansion in your arms, feeling movement, energy moving through the body in your face, neck. Release the tension from your jaw, stick your tongue all the way out. Try to lift your chin and release tension from your face, maybe even bringing your fingers in and massaging, just moving energy around your face. And then feeling that breath at the crown, at the top of your head. Now we'll try to bring us to this space where we settle into our body throughout the day. Um, so just keep coming back to your breath, no matter what happens. Allow yourself to come back to your breath throughout this day. It's going to be a lot of information. Um, I'm going to tell you, I don't, I don't always smoke weed, but when I first started trying to learn about crypto, I was like, yo, pass the blunt. Because, and not just crypto, but just all of this that I had really, really willfully ignored for a long time, probably way too long. But as I started trying to understand and wrap my mind around it, which I still have not wrapped my mind fully around it, which is why I'm not teaching it, why I brought in experts, because this is not my lane, and my human design has taught me to stay in my lane. So what I am, though, what is my lane is abundance and manifesting abundance, seduction, eroticism, and sex work. Those are my lanes. And the internet wouldn't be what it is without sex workers, without some hoes. Nobody would have paid attention to the internet this long. And similarly, no one's going to pay attention to Web3 until they realize how much sex is there. And it's there already. It is. This is important for people like me, for people like Marla, who's a sex educator, therapist, guru, teacher, for folks like Jesset and Jasmine and King Noir, who are producers of content, and for any Coach K, who's here, who's a producer of sex educational content, right? Like all of us that are in this field, I see you, Beulah, I see others, Mackenzie, all of us that are working in this field in some way, shape, or form, and have faced so much censorship over the last 4 to 5 years. We can't afford to ignore it. This one space that's wide open, that can't be censored, and that can, because of that, also deliver a mass shit ton of harm. And those of us in the work looking at, well, how do we tap into this? Right? How do I move into this? How does this work? How does any of it work? I don't get it. That process was like I said, pass the blunt. We're gonna go through that a little bit easier today. You may wanna grab the blunt. I don't know. Let's see what happens. But in the meantime, we're gonna try to get you as squared away as possible. So today, the schedule may change. I updated the schedule in the Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, Mackenzie, if you can throw the Facebook group in the chat. If you're not in the Facebook group already, you can access it. You just put in your email address that you joined, and we'll let you in throughout the breaks. And there's also an email that should have gotten sent to you if you opted in. Some of you opted out of an email, so it's maybe hard to reach you. There's an email but it should have got sent to you this morning with more details as well. And we will continue to update. We have a little online guide that we're building out as the teachers present, because I'm just going to be asking them questions. It's going to be an interview style process. I have some great questions. I looked at what the questions were that you all were asking, how we can get this information in, what was pressing for you. And I'm asking those questions to the experts. And then we'll break off for question and answer at the end of each expert round, where you can ask questions that maybe I didn't get answered, or maybe they came up while you were in this process. So please, if you can, it will be really beneficial for you to attend each one. So that way you can kind of figure out what your questions really are. Sometimes we got to get the information to even know what the fuck we're confused about, right? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be giving you the information. I know you got to work. It's Tuesday. It's International Women's Day, though. So tell them you're at a very important conference for women. You're representing your agency, or your organization, or your brand, and leave you the hell alone. Okay? All right. So with that being said, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my first time buying Bitcoin. Because I bought Bitcoin, I think in 2003, 2004, not sure. But let me tell you why I'm not sure, because it's a shit show of a story, and I want to make you laugh to start off the day. So I sold ass online, as they say. I've been a sex worker for a long time, and Shandy said, huh? Oh, Shandy, I mean, said, all right, so I've 2003. So I bought, it had to be 2003. It might have been 2005. I've been struggling trying to remember it. I can't find the original date, but here's what happened. Backpage came out in competition with Craigslist, and Craigslist was where we had been placing ads. Backpage, Craigslist started charging like $1 per ad, which was ridiculous because we had been using Craigslist forever for free. And so this had to be 2005, right around that time. And so the Backpage swooped in and started saying, all right, now for those of you that are younger, and just so you know, like before Craigslist, before Backpage, we had to actually put our ads in the newspaper on the back page. That's where that comes from, because we actually had physical newspapers, and that's where you found all your sexy shit, all your massage parlors, all your strip clubs on the back page of the first section. So that's where the name comes from, just little, old hoe tips. So, or old hoe info. So I started using Backpage, and Backpage said you had to pay, but they couldn't accept credit cards because they were they were black market, essentially, right? So this was black market on mainstream internet, and the only way that they accepted payment was through Bitcoin. And so I did not know anything about Bitcoin. I had to go and buy some. They had a link, buy your Bitcoin here. I followed the link, bought my Bitcoin, put it in what we now know as a wallet, and started paying for my ads. Here's the kicker. It was about, each ad was still like $1. So it was like a Bitcoin and a half at the time, maybe a little bit more. And it was so ridiculous. But I just remember that it went up, the price of Bitcoin went up. It might have been $1.50. And I was like, I'm done. Yeah, this is robbery. Why am I buying money for more money? Why can't you just accept my debit card? This doesn't make any sense. And so I didn't buy any more Bitcoin. Sometimes I want to run my head into into a concrete wall. Because I should have bought like $20 worth, $20 worth of Bitcoin. And honestly, y'all probably would have never met me because I would have never made it to Atlanta, and I would have just probably stopped being a sex worker in about 2012. I'd have been rich on a yacht somewhere. I did not do that. And I'm very grateful for the life that I have. So I'm not tripping. But I think about that, like, I wonder what would happen if you just spent $50 and said, let me just keep it. The other problem is that even with those couple of Bitcoins that I did have in my wallet, I did not know, I didn't pay attention to Bitcoin ever again until 2012, 2013. At which point it was now worth about, I believe, $1,200 or $1,300, something like that a coin. For those of you that don't know, its value right now today is about $38,000 per coin. This is not a trend. This is a mistake that we are making. This is a mistake that I made. It's not a trend. And I use these dates just so that you can kind of have an idea. Like, people have been talking about it a lot. Yes, I know. People got really vocal about it during the start of the pandemic. Yes, I know. But it's been around for a long time. And in 2012, it was 2013, somewhere around there. I had a friend, we were at their house. They sat around. I'm best friends with this guy's wife. And she's one of my many best friends. I'm best friend polyamorous, just like I am in everywhere. I have like 15 best friends. So he comes running out. He's like, yo, y'all, look, I bought this Bitcoin and it look how much it jumped. Y'all should get in on this. Now me, Miss Know-It-All, said, I got some Bitcoin somewhere. How much is it worth? I'm not buying no more. It's expensive. I bought mine for like $1. It was I think it was $1,200 at that time. Still, again, here we are, $38,000 today, right? I did not buy any Bitcoin. A bunch of my friends there at the table sat down, logged in, and bought a little bit, just a little bit of Bitcoin that day just to watch it play. And 3 of those friends are retired right now. 3 of those friends have paid off their mortgages of their homes in Hawaii, which is not a small feat because homes in Hawaii are expensive as fuck. And they are essentially retired. The wives got to quit working. And it's been a very, very interesting journey of me watching that and being 2 times now kicking myself thinking, you really just don't learn, do you? I'm sharing this story with you because I think it's very important to where we are right now. And I have one more bit of it that I'm going to share before we move on. The third part was I said, okay, let me go find my Bitcoins. How do I figure out where the Bitcoins are? So I start going through all my old emails, and I find a wallet I realized they canceled me because that wallet wasn't available in Hawaii. And since my driver's license and residency had switched to Hawaii in the time that I purchased my first Bitcoin, I moved to Hawaii in 2005. So since that had shifted, Hawaii has very strict banking regulations, and they weren't allowing us to open mini wallet accounts. And so I couldn't access that. And then I started looking for the key. It's really important. You're going to learn this today to know where your key is. Because if you don't have a key, you ain't got no money. I was high and low for this key because Bitcoin had went up to 65,000. And I said, well, shit, even if I only got one left in the wallet, 65,000 is still pretty good. You still got to come up. Let's go find this. And I went on what was about a year-long search for a number that no longer exists. It's gone. I lost it. I literally lost Bitcoin. Not like you lose money. Like, this is kind of like your money fell out your purse while you was walking on to go pay your rent. And then you got there, now you're about to get evicted. Like, that's how it felt. You know, that's a very real moment where I was just like, wow, this is mint. This is insane. Like I have this money and now it's gone. But I never saw it. So I shouldn't be that sad. Which allowed me to get over it, the grief of that loss a little bit easier. Like at least I wasn't like using it and somebody snuck in and stole it, which happened to my mother. My mother had Bitcoin that she had earned um, from a game because Bitcoin is using gaming, and my mother likes to play a lot of internet games. And so she has a couple of coins. I think she had like 3.5 or 4 coins. And I told her my story, and she said, "Oh, I have." Hold on, I'm sorry. I just saw that request, and I apologize for not making this more accessible. Captions are on now, and so we'll move forward. Hopefully, this will be easier, and we'll edit that in the beginning. Thank you for calling me on that. So my mother said that she had some coins and she had to find her key. And I said, "Oh shit, here we go. The key, Mom. You gotta know where the key is." And she said, "Don't worry, I got my key right here." My mom is one of the kind of people that has like a bookshelf full of journals that she just writes all the time. And so she says, "In one of these journals." And so she one day called me a year later. Me and my sisters had long since given up on any idea that my mom was gonna have this money. She called me, she said, "I found my key." Cool. So we go and we punch the key in, and she had it in a wallet that was under investigation. That the creator of this wallet or system actually was in prison for embezzling everybody's money, took everybody's money. And so it's one of the largest cases of Bitcoin theft in the world. My mother's money is wrapped up in that. It's Interpol is involved, the FBI is involved, like every agency, James Bond is up in that motherfucker, like everybody trying to figure out where the money went. And every now and then she gets an email letting her know that she can file. FBI found some money, they'll give her a little bit of change and they're just kind of parsing it out, which speaks to the importance of knowing how to manage your money, because it can get stolen in the same way that your money can get stolen out of Wells Fargo. But it's very scary because we know Wells Fargo, we think they're going to get in trouble. All that happens is they go to jail and they look for the money. That's it. But there's some of our deposits are insured and we'll get some of it. But my mother wouldn't have gotten, I mean, most federal deposits are insured up to 250 or 500. My mother had more than that in Bitcoin by the time we had found her, just about that much, more than 250. So she, at many banks, she wouldn't even have got fully covered. This is important for us to know as we start to move through. I want you to start thinking about questions that you could ask about crypto and about abundance, but we're going to have people that will explain this in far better terms than me. I'm just giving you a little synopsis of my experience with Bitcoin. Now, with crypto, I'm now fully immersed in learning and appreciating where I'm working on my own projects. I'm looking at how to incorporate sex education in AI spaces. I have my Oculus, in case you get, can you open that for me? Thank you. I have my Oculus and I'm building out my spaces so that people can come to my classrooms. And this is the Oculus, right? So I get to, kind of put this on and leave this world, right? So I have this, yep. Shani, I'll be looking for you. And so thank you. So I'm working on building spaces like we have always known them to be, right? Many of you have come to one of my workshops or classes live in person. COVID has changed a lot of how we gather, but also a lot of us have enough Zoom fatigue. I'm sure a lot of you saw this and were like, "Oh, it's gonna be on Zoom." All right, because we've gotten to that point in the pandemic. We're at the 2-year mark. And we've been doing this for a long time. So what does it look like? How does this change? This has opened up the world. I have clients in 3 countries in Africa now because of this. which is huge because, as you probably imagine, sex education is not readily available. Intimacy education is not readily available in many places in Africa, um, and uh, and so there's an opportunity to really shift the conversation. Africa is being incredibly empowered as a continent with alternative crypto, with alternative intelligent and cryptocurrency. Uh, it's this idea of decentralizing banks, which I'm not going to define. You're going to get these definitions. People who know more than me are going to help you. But this idea is changing access in so many ways. People who used to earn $1 a week are now earning a couple dollars a day. Now that doesn't sound like much to us here in the West. That's a huge, huge difference and shift in wealth. It shifts the powers that be, right? Especially if your family has been making only a little bit of money in the mines every day to create cell phones for us. And now they can make more money staking crypto, helping create art that is sold in NFT marketplaces. There's so much opportunity and such a big shift of power is happening. And if we miss it, then we will be, like I said, the auntie with the curly hair, wig, and the side part, dinosaur, aged out. And we cannot afford that. So that's why we're here. That's the number one reason why we're here. The number two reason is because I want you to call in the abundance that you deserve. It is a part of my philosophy. It is a part of my everyday life that the people in my circle, and all of y'all are in my circle, that the people in my circle are have access to the things that you deserve, and that you deserve whatever it is that you desire. And so to really start thinking about what that looks like, sorry, to really start thinking about what that looks like, what it means that this is something I really desire. But a lot of times, thank you so much. A lot of times we're just holding on to the desire of someone else. We are trying to create and manifest what we think somebody else will witness us having. And so I also want to shift our mindset into thinking like, what is it that you really want? I'm meeting people, I've been abroad now for almost a year, and I'm meeting people all over that are stopping through, that are digital nomads, that are crypto retired, people under the age of 30 that have stopped working because their crypto is earning enough money, they don't need to. And so now they're just spending their time learning about crypto, learning about AI, learning about what's next. They're just having fun and being free. Ooh, don't that sound good? I want y'all to be free, just so we're clear. I want freedom for us. And so I talk to these people as they're kind of navigating and moving through, and I see a shift in the energy, and I want that for us too. People who are trying to figure out, how do I become a digital nomad, or how do I leave the US and expatriate? How is this possible? Can I get it? You can't work, right? The countries are just like, I mean, you can, there's some jobs, but a lot of these places are just like the US where, if it's got a stable economy, it's not trying to let you just come in and take jobs from their people. That's not how they're going to do it, right? So what do? How does this work? This provides a gateway for people to leave the country that they're in if it's not serving you. And I'm gonna tell you, the U.S. stopped serving me a long time ago, so I am about that bitch. And so I think it's really important to like really start thinking about, what is it that you deserve, you desire? Do you desire to even be where you're at? The city, the state, the country, the relationship. Some of us are in relationships that if the lottery hit, we know we wouldn't even call that motherfucker no more. We would be gone. Tell the truth, shame the devil, right? What are you being held hostage because you know you can't afford rent on your own? Or do you know someone who is? Are you living in a toxic family situation because the price of housing has gone up so much that you can't leave it? There are real valid reasons for us as Black people to really think about what's next and be progressive in that space. I'm tired of hearing Black people say crypto is a scam or a phase. It's been around for a very long time. It's about as much of a phase as me eating pussy was in 1997, and I'm still doing it. Sorry, mom, not a phase, right? So what do? How do we get us as a collective to a space where we're not kind of dissing ourselves out of the potential to manifest the abundance that we desire, to manifest the life that we want, to create and seduce abundance, to be comfortable in our relationship with money, to be comfortable talking about money. We have all this shame around two things: sex and money. I'm not supposed to ask you how much you make. I'm not supposed to ask you how much it cost. I'm not supposed to tell you how many people I fucked. I'm not supposed to tell you how I like it. All of these things are intertwined. And it's also all way down here, right? We're talking root and sacral chakra energy. So there's an opportunity for us to look at these two things and bring them together and create and spread in whatever ways you want to spread, but to create and spread and to live the life that you want to live. I believe that. I want that for you. So if that's what you are here for, press one. Let me see if everybody's still with me. And then I also want to open up to some questions because I know that there are tons of questions, and I want to be real honest with you. I'm not going to be able to answer all of them, but I got my trusty home girl here with me, Rebecca. And so if there's a question I can't answer, but I know one of the experts that's going to join us later on can answer, I'm just going to pop one over to her, have her jot it down, and then we're going to keep it moving. All right. So here's how it will go. And this is how it's going to go for every class. If you look at the bottom of the screen, there is a raise your hand thing, right? If you hit the reactions button, if you have a question, whether you have a question or not, go ahead and hit a reaction. Love, thumbs up, hand claps, happy face. You can make your reactions brown. See, mine are brown hands. So you can, all right, good. And then if you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand. You can lower your hand once you've raised it if you don't have a question. But that's how we're going to start it. So every time that we move, every time that we have one of these session, that's the word. Every time that we have a session, still a little early, then that's how you will communicate with the teachers. Make sure you have written. Oh, Kadera, thank you. Oh, where's the Ori Chef Tech? I'm seeing that. Make sure that you have written down your question, and so that you could have it ready and be succinct and clear. We are on a time frame. These folks are coming in doing this for free, and so I want to make sure that that their time is respected and that you get as much information as possible. Okay, I saw some hands up, but then I saw them go down. So if you really had your hand up and you meant it, go ahead and put it back up. I will pull on you and answer. You don't have to come onto the screen. You just have your voice out. Okay, I see Robin has a question. Hello, Robin.
Hi, my question is, you mentioned key a couple times. What exactly is that? Is that like, what is that? I'm not gonna infer something.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for asking. And so I'm gonna throw this, we have some guides in the little classroom link that you got in your email today. So I'll put that in there. But a key is essentially a PIN number, but it's the longest fucking PIN number of your life. Like, it's like a VIN number long, right? So it's not something that you're really probably memorizing unless you have some inner Rain Man qualities. So it's something that you have to really write down somewhere. You should probably write it down somewhere safe and secure. And we'll talk about types of technology that's out for you to be able to reserve your key. A quick way for everyone to get a key right now. Hold on, let me go to my little notes. All right, so I'm gonna put this in the chat. And I'm gonna give you all $25 of cryptocurrency to start. And shameless plug, this also gets me $25. So you ain't gotta do it. I'm just being honest, that's what it is. But this referral link right here just gives you $25 of free crypto. You don't have to do anything else to it. She can just watch that $25 forever and just see how it works. But when you get that crypto account, the crypto.com account, it's going to help you understand a little bit about the basics, right? So this is like a free little access basically, but you're going to get 25, so you don't have to put any of your money in. You don't have to ever put any of your money into anything. This is not a class where I'm trying to teach you how to invest. That's not what today is about. Today is, Jasmine, I see you, you're coming up next. Today is strictly about knowledge and information. This $25 is yours. You can play with it. You can watch it grow. If it bottoms out tomorrow, who cares? It was free money, right? So, but you will get a PIN number or key there, and you'll see a little bit about the process. I like crypto.com. There's a ton of other wallets out there. And we're going to talk about some of those later. But the reason why I like crypto.com, the reason why I started with them is because one of the things that I had a conversation with this group of queer women here, which kind of initiated this event. And we were chatting, and one of the women told me that she had all of her money, about 95% of her money was in crypto. And it's asking for a code. I don't know what that is. Okay, let me come back to you on that one. Okay, but she said all of her money was in crypto, and I was just asking, like, what does that mean? It doesn't even sound, okay, his one. That doesn't even sound right. What do you mean all your money is in crypto and you're retired? And she said, I don't spend, she said, it's very rare for me to buy anything and not spend crypto. And she said to me, and this is really what kind of woke me up a lot too. She said, here's the thing. If the price of gas goes up, it goes up based on your dollar, your US dollar, right? So, and we all know this, the price of gas has recently jumped like a motherfucker, right? So here's the kicker. If I am looking at the US price of gas going up, I'm looking at it wrong. What I really have to be looking at is the fact that my dollar went down. And so for her, she said that, you know, this whole thing that we're doing is when you watch the crypto go up, like that means that now if I spent $1 on crypto and it's worth $3 today, my gas is $1 a gallon and not $3 a gallon. If I'm spending on this crypto card with my cryptocurrency, and this crypto.com has a Visa associated with it. So you can get your Visa and use it like a regular Visa everywhere, which means to me, like if you bought crypto today, the $25 that you get today, and in a year it's worth $250, and you need to buy a new video camera for your web series, well, then you only paid $25 for that video camera and everybody else paid $250. And so it's something as simple as that made me really switch the way that I wanted to move with crypto. Because I was just buying it and putting in the thing and saying, this, I'm not telling you this is what you have to do. I'm telling you, like, people are looking at real life applications. I'm watching people buy houses overseas. I'm watching people buy their groceries. We have a weed man here that accepts crypto. Like, shit has changed. The game is a little bit different. Your weed is way cheaper when you're buying it in crypto when it's peaking, right? What is it, $200 for a good ounce, a not mid? Okay, cool. Well, what if I put in $50 in crypto and it's $200 tomorrow and I buy my ounce tomorrow? It may dip again. People say buy the dip. I say spin the rise, right? Like when the money go up, that's when I need to buy my new washing machine. That's what I need, because now I'm getting a discount on everything. It's a little life hack, right? It makes so much more. Why was I buying stuff with regular fiat currency, which is what they call, paper dollars? Like this is fiat. This is fiat currency, right? That value is just as fluctuating. I watch that graph every day because I'm spending foreign currency. But that's something to pay attention to. Anyway, I went on a tangent. I'm going to pause. Jazz, let me go ahead and unmute you. I see you have a question. Hey, love.
Hi. Thanks for taking me. My question is how to purchase from Hawaii and if we can do fractional. And I'm sure you'll cover that, but I just wanted to go over my questions as well.
Okay. So the how to cover. So I had an issue. Hawaii has recently loosened up its laws because I'm telling you, I have a ticket. I'm on my way to change my driver's license because I still have Hawaiian residency, even though I live abroad. And I'm changing my driver's license to Texas because my sister bought a house down there, and I'm gonna learn how to speak in that Texan accent for pretend when I'm on the phone with them because I'm not gonna live in that state because it's harmful to women and ovaries and trans people. But anyway. Your Hawaii driver's license will work just fine now for this crypto.com. That's another reason why I had to use it. I can't buy some of them. I can't use some exchanges because of my Hawaii driver's license. Now, you can get around that if you have a military ID. You can get around that if you're in Hawaii with a military ID. But in some spots, like MetaMask, lets you sign up without having any driver's license or any ID at all whatsoever. So there's a lot more to learn. Again, I am not the expert. I'm just playing around this, but MetaMask is another way. That was what I was recommended, and it's an extension on Chrome. And that's a good place where you can buy other stuff. Again, I'm gonna have somebody else explain that part to you because I'll be like, baby, help. I don't know what I'm doing. But I know for those of us who have Hawaii driver's licenses, or for those of us who are in a state where there may be some other banking regulations, look at MetaMask but crypto.com will let you, the one that I just shared will let you all right. Okay, good question. Thank you, Jazz. If anyone else has a question, feel free to raise your hand and on the reactions tab, and we'll get started with that. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of walk you through what we're going to be seeing today so that if you have any conflicts or you got to try to work your schedule around, you can figure that out. We're going to wrap this session up. Yes, there's a code. EJ, just put the code back down in there so people can see it. I didn't know I had to have another code. But thank you for, let's see. So we're going to start today. Oh yeah, there it is. My referral code, agree and share now. I'm just putting this in the chat for staff so that if anyone needs the code, Mackenzie, Olivia, and EJ, if y'all could just post that in the group every so often so folks can have access to it. Thank you so much. And Tasani. Hey, Tasani. Okay, so we are going to start at 10:30 with our first kind of teacher, who is Professor NFT on Twitter, and we'll be sharing all of their details, how to connect with them as well, so that you can get some basics. But she's going to talk a bit about NFTs and answer some basic questions. I'm going to interview her and then open up the floor for question and answer with you all. NFTs have been something that I've been really, really discovering and getting excited about. I'm in the process of playing around with my own NFT ideas. And I think it's a really good place to introduce yourself to the market, to like, well, what do we do with this? How are ways that we can, what are they talking about, first of all? So I was telling, because Rebecca is way more, first of all, she's younger than me. And I tell you, with the young folks, man, I'm grateful for y'all. I'm trying to keep y'all in my good graces and in my presence. Because as someone who turned 45 last month, I feel really out, like I'm getting aged out of this shit, like for real. So I was talking to her last night because I wanted her to break down some stuff for us and make it real easy on these graphics that we created. And I said, it needs to be easier. You talking to 45, 42-year-olds. I know some of y'all way younger, but some of us are like, wait, what? And some of y'all are younger and y'all like, what? So it's not even necessarily an age thing, but for those of us that are older, man, we thought we had it down. Like, I know Microsoft Word, Office, I got all that. I'm good, right? No, it's a whole nother web. It's a whole nother internet. This is too much. what does it even mean to have an NFT? What is an NFT? What is an FT? Like what? I feel like I just was dropped off in another land, right? So, wait, Shetty, I'm going ahead and ask you to unmute because you got me fired up over here. What, are you, oh, you're talking to somebody. I thought you was like, yeah, what is an NFT?
No, I was saying, I was like, you see, now that I do know. A FT is something like some money, something that can be exchanged evenly. An NFT is something that we could trade it, but the truth is, it's not going to be the same value, like pussy and dick. I'm about to go back on mute.
Okay, I like that comparison, but absolutely, right? So I'm going to show you a quick example of what an NFT is with my Divine Portal Oracle deck. You can buy this online, although I think we're sold out now. But this is my pussy deck, right? Full of pussies. It in this way is an FT. Is you can trade it evenly, like it's the same value no matter what. Suggested retail price of $49.99 or $59.99, whatever it is online. Okay, but as soon as I say I am going to autograph this bad bitch and give it to one lucky person who's here in this room with love. Oops, let me take that little thing off. With love, pleasure, and power, Goddess Amina, 3/8/22. Now this is a non-fungible token. It is different. It has a different value. It is separate from all the rest. It's that easy. The difference is that instead of my signature, it would be a unique code that you would get, a unique key that you would get that would be specific to that item, which changes the value. And I don't know why they don't explain this shit like that. I don't know why. I think they hate us sometimes. I'm like, why can't y'all just make it easy? Because what Shanti said was real. Like it's just, it changed. It's something. Can this value, is the value changed? Or is it the same as every cookie at the bakery? Or is this cookie different? Is all pussy the same or is my pussy different? Like, right? I'm gonna do a giveaway, so don't worry. Somebody's gonna get this non-fungible token today. And hopefully we'll have enough. We'll have some more of these giveaways throughout the day. So just keep popping in and hanging out and paying attention, and we'll give some stuff away. You're gonna learn today, Tiffany. That's for sure. Okay, so that it's little things like that. Like I really feel like one of the things that I'm trying to do today is make sure that we have like right, some basic moments. I'm the Oprah Winfrey of sex, so we're gonna have some aha moments up in this bitch. Like aha, this is starting to make sense now. And I think that once we get done with this day today, that we will be doing a few things differently. We will be holding on to currency a little bit differently. We'll be looking at currency a little bit different. I think that it's a real big deal for those of us. Let me see, just by show of numbers, press 5 in the chat if you grew up in a neighborhood with a currency exchange in it. Let me see where y'all from. If y'all know about this. Y'all had a currency exchange in your neighborhood, push 5 in the chat. Okay, all right. Couple of us. Okay, cool. When we talk about currency exchanges, I think one of the things that people don't realize when they're talking to Black folks, particularly Black women who have held the purses of our communities, is that the term currency and exchange in the marketplace is actually triggering for us by itself. Because the currency exchange was always a place of great robbery and deception, right? It was a way for them to keep money out of our pockets, to limit our access to banks and banking. And it was really, for many of us, the only place we could get a check cashed for a high fee. I remember going to currency exchanges when I was younger, cashing checks, and it was out of control, right? They do that per person just to cash my check, just to honor the check, right? And then everything you want to do there is another fee. And so we're talking about currency and exchanges and the space and presence of Black folks who many of us grew up in neighborhoods with predatory as currency exchanges, we have to realize that, there's something else that happens in the body. Like my body is automatically a little bit like, this sounds like a scam already. My spidey sense is going off because I know one thing about currency and exchange, and that's when they're together, that they scam Black communities. There's a lot more than just us looking at it and a simple lens. And I think that today, as we move through, and once we kind of get through some of these questions, we'll have a better understanding. So we have 10:30. We have Professor NFT will be joining us at 10:30, and then at 11:45. I am going to guide us into a meditation and a little conversation about being in flow, attracting abundance effortlessly. We're going to do a little bit of work around improving our relationship with money. And then we're going to flow into Crypto 101 with Sylvania, or a.k.a. Aquarius Maximus, who's the founder of Guapcoin, the only Black crypto coin, or maybe not the only one, but the biggest one, Black cryptocurrency that actually has their own coin. And so who's a better expert to tell us about some of the basics of crypto than someone who's actually done all the work and can answer other questions that you may have. So we'll do that. Then I have a couple of others. We're gonna have some hot seat panels where folks are gonna jump in, do little 15-minute Q&As with us that are in the work, and that'll start after Tavania finishes with her. So we're looking at 2:30. And then at 4:30, we got Pearl Noir coming in to teach us about the art of seduction and the healing power of seduction. And then after that, we have Dr. Kimberly Jonita coming in to talk to us about crypto and tech, because that is a big also part. Like, okay, now you're making this money, and now we don't want you to be Lauryn Hill up in this mug, so we want to make sure that you get to keep your money. How do you navigate? And the government can't keep up. Joe Biden is working on something right now. I saw it in the news. I'm trying to figure out what to do with crypto. He has a new bill because of Ukraine, and they're trying to put sanctions, and guess what? Sanctions don't work in decentralized banking. Sanctions don't work. Yes, there is. You can still register. Can one of y'all throw it's the homegirls.com. So that doesn't work in this world of, like, Cuba has cryptocurrency as a part of their central bank now. We've had sanctions on Cuba forever. When we go to Cuba, we have to pull out all the money that we want to spend, and we are not allowed to go to the ATM anymore. So you have to budget every day. My first trip to Cuba was real hard because I ran out of money on the last day, and I was like, oh shit, I got $3 left. What am I gonna do? Get some eat pizza, because you can't use your credit card. It doesn't matter how much money you got, you take out a stack and you act irresponsible like I did my first trip to Cuba, and you will run out of money. Except now you can use cryptocurrency. It's different. Decentralized money, decentralized banking changes the world. And so the politicians are scrambling, the FBI is scrambling, the IRS is scrambling, and they go and scramble because they fucked up everything, right? You let these people in charge, and it looks like a zoo in there when you go look at what they've done with the country. It's a zoo. And so they don't know what to do, and they really can't do anything about us sharing money on our own, because that's what it is. It's me saying, hey, Libby, here's $5. I'm giving you $5. You're giving me $5. We're just trading. We're just bartering. We're just off the banks. The reason why it got real popular in the pandemic is because people were working from home, and they were able to have more time to themselves. They can keep you distracted by keeping you on the road every day. You don't have time to learn anything new. They can keep you in bondage, essentially, by making sure that every free minute that you have is dedicated to them or to the pursuit of the American dream. And this disrupts that. And so I'm excited to have this day with you, to celebrate International Women's Day in a way that says, hey, I'm open to learning more about how to revolutionize my abundance, my exotic power, my erotic power, how to play with money, how to understand the basics, because we really don't understand money anyway, right? People are manifesting. They ask, what do you want to manifest? I want to manifest $1 million. For what? What do you want to manifest $1 million for? You've had $1 million. It's past you time and time again. You've been in front of, in, around, and under $1 million. Well, how is the next million going to be different? Well, we're going to talk about what it looks like to actually be conscious in your manifesting, to create true abundance through your power, through your own sensual and erotic power, and to not have this arbitrary idea of what money is and how much you're going to need, because you don't know that. You don't know that. There's no way of knowing. My brother is 65 years old. He's retiring this year. What he thought he needed 40 years ago to retire is not what he needed to retire, right? What he has enough to retire, and he's playing in crypto, so now this will shift for him as well. But that's the reality, is that we don't know money. They said this number was $1 million. Now $1 million is not enough for you to retire on in most countries, in most states, in the US. So it's all going to be money, our understanding of money will shift. And so that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to leave the last few minutes open in case anyone else has a question about where we're going today. I will continue to update the Facebook group. If someone can throw the Facebook group link back in here one more time for the folks that came in later. We'll continue to update the Facebook group, and maybe we'll live stream the next session in the Facebook group as was planned, but we'll see what happens. Either way, I live stream this on YouTube, so I'll be sharing the link for the replay to this in YouTube as well. And we'll go from there. Any questions, thoughts, last minute tidbits that you want to share before we jump off of here and get ready to start our next? We're going to have a little bio break, so it could be 15 to 30 minutes. People can still register. I see that question popping up a lot. If you go to, there's two ways to register, but one is you go to myhomegirls.com and you just fill out that form. And then once we jump out of this session, we'll pull you all, anybody that's registered in, they'll get an automatic invitation to the Facebook group when they complete that form, and then they'll see the link for this. So that's the easiest way. Just tell them to go to myhomegirls.com, complete that form, and check their email. Kicker is they can't opt out. So a lot of people joined and then opted out of the email, and so they didn't get the confirmation email. When you sign up for an event, you can't say, don't send me any emails, or else the system will say, okay. And so then we have no way of communicating. So if you know somebody that said they signed up and they haven't gotten anything, then let them know that sign up again, and this time opt in, because I can't force them in. It's my internet company, my provider will get mad at me if I start making people get emails after they said they didn't want to get email. After this break, will the next session be held on Facebook Live? I am hoping so. This we're in Zoom now, and it was supposed to communicate directly to Facebook, and it did not. I don't know what the fuck happened, but it is on my YouTube channel. And so it did let me connect that way. I'm going to play around with it a little bit, do a couple test runs. I thought I had it down, but I didn't. So we're going to try that again and see what happens. And if not, the YouTube link will be there so that you can watch it with ease without, we'll just do it override through YouTube, because YouTube is cooperating quite nicely. So yeah. And then you'll have access to the recordings also, because they'll be in Facebook. So that's the good thing. That's why it's important. I know a lot of you are not even on Facebook. So it's probably a blessing that I did it through YouTube, as many of you are like, fuck Mark Zuckerberg. And I think also Web3 and a lot of this is giving us an opportunity to kind of give Mark Zuckerberg the middle finger with all of the censorship and shit that they are enforcing in our worlds. But yeah. Any other questions or thoughts or things that you want to get off your chest about crypto and this before we get started? Please go ahead and either type it in the chat or raise your hand. Let me see. And I'm also very curious, for those of you, we had a lot of people who had ones when I asked in the survey on, rate your knowledge of NFTs. And I got a lot of ones in the group. So a lot of people that don't know hardly anything at all. So I'm excited for the next session for you. Hope that you find that there's some questions that you can see. Let's see, I see it says Camila. Oh, there we go. Has raised their hand. Also, before I say this, if you can update your name to reflect your pronouns so that we don't identify you in this class. I don't want to misgender you. However you appreciate your pronouns, please let us know. And you can add it to your name. So when we raise your hand, we see you and we honor you as the way that you deserve to be honored. And the cinnamon, I should have done that from the picture. Hey, love.
Yes. Thank you so much for doing this. I have a speaking engagement at 12 o'clock, so I'm going to be in and out a little bit. But I did want to just say thank you so much. And thank you for bringing up the whole thing about Backpage. I was, when you were talking about that, I went into my email to see if I could find like any trace of Bitcoin that I had purchased at that point in time. But I couldn't find anything. Like, how did you locate Bitcoin that you had purchased way back then?
So I've lost it, right? I didn't get a chance to get it. But what I do know is two things. I found out that there's a job out there of crypto hunters. And I'm really like, I see them as like Lord Croft Tomb Raider people online going to find your lost crypto, and they take half of whatever they find or more. I've seen people that actually take even more. And so you can actually hire, there's a specific name and I'll try to find out what that is. And if somebody knows, you can throw it in the chat. But they can help you find it if you have an idea. Like since you bought it through Bitcoin, you can, I'll see if I can pull it up because I know that there's a way to find whatever wallet it was that we were buying through Bitcoin. And there's probably a shit ton of us who were, selling shit on Backpage and don't know where that is when we had Bitcoin. I hope we all find it, even if it just puts a little $20,000 in the bank account for the weekend, however it works. But I think that is an opportunity. So first thing you can do is Google like what was the Bitcoin wallet for Backpage, and maybe if you have an idea for the year, there might have been a couple, and then you can start seeing what your login, maybe pulling it that way. That's how I did it. I actually had the email still in my email, so mine was a little easier because I use Gmail and I would just archive everything. So, and I got one of them old school Gmail accounts that had unlimited space. So I have client data from way back. I got my Gmail account back when you had to have an invitation to get a Gmail account. You couldn't just log on. That's how old I am.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I was looking through. I have one of those old accounts too, so I'm going to go and dig a little bit more. I think that it seems like my Gmail account started deleting some emails from way back. I do have some stuff as far back as like 2008, so I'll have to dig and see if I can find it. But thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I totally forgot that we had to use Bitcoin for at one point in time. It switched from cash to Bitcoin. But thank you for that.
Yeah. No, you're welcome. In 2008, we were definitely in Bitcoin then. So if you still got some emails from them, look at your receipts and just start following the trail. And if you need to hire help, you're on Twitter. I'm sure if you say, hey, I got some coins somewhere here, people just want to talk to you. They would jump at the opportunity. So thank you. And thanks for being here, love. Hey, Beulah.
Hey, Amina, good morning.
Good
So
morning.
as far as like the ID portion, how do they keep up with it? Because, stuff be changing in my life. So like, how is that, do they verify it a lot or how do they do that?
So for, they're just verifying compliancy, I believe. So MetaMask does not, and there are others that do not require that you have any ID. MetaMask did not ask me for ID. So you could use MetaMask. And I think that's important for people who are navigating immigration or are also, concerned about their personal security for a variety of reasons, that MetaMask does not require any of that. And I'll have those links for you in the little room that I created for us to put all the stuff in. So you'll get a link for MetaMask as well. Excuse me. Let me just see if I can, actually, I might be able to show you a little bit about what MetaMask, it's an extension on Chrome. I have it. I don't use MetaMask often because I have been just kind of learning this system, but somebody told me, they said, you need MetaMask because of your Hawaii ID, so that's why I did it. Also, some coins are not available in other places. So I will send that over to you. EJ, I don't know if you have a MetaMask link that you want to put in, but I'll share that information for you. And maybe we'll do a walkthrough at the lunch break so that y'all can see what MetaMask looks like. I'll pull EJ on so he can walk y'all through MetaMask. I think that might be really helpful. And anything else that you think might be helpful, y'all, like this is an event that is like, it's free and we kind of curated some stuff, but also it doesn't benefit us if we're just talking about shit that's not important to you. So please, 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 if there's something that you're like confused, you're hitting a wall. I know, Lotus, I see you say it's so intimidating. It is, but what's intimidating is, well, first of all, I'm an Aquarius, so I laugh in the face of intimidation, but also what's exciting about that on the other side of intimidation is resolution. And so this also, I think, can really help us, and especially those of us who are women and femme in this group, that it really helps us kind of move and propel ourselves into a space where we can actually confront things that are intimidating with a little more grace and ease, and that we move out of the sphere of failure, that we move out of this fear of fucking up. Like, what is it to fuck up? We're gonna fuck up some shit. Let's do it. Let's fuck some shit up. And let's, you could play penny stocks. You could do a dollar and get to know how that dollar moves. You can monitor $1 online. It doesn't have to be that scary. I believe it doesn't have to be that scary, that intimidating, but it is a little stressful. Like I said, I had to hit the blunt, man. I don't even smoke blunts. So this is a way for us to access all of that. Don't worry. Jasmine, are we able to buy Bitcoin at fractions? Absolutely. You could buy 75 cents worth of Bitcoin. Let me show you one of my, in fact, I was going to buy some today. Let me see if it's dipped. One of the easiest ways that you probably don't realize that's happening is you can buy Bitcoin through Cash App, PayPal, like all of these major exchanges, Venmo, are all using Bitcoin, right? So it's not, again, go back to that whole like releasing the idea that it's a scam or that it's a phase, all of these companies. So I go to my Cash App, someone sent me some money today. And when I get money on Cash App, I just like to go ahead and throw that in, unless it's a lot. I'm trying to get wrong, I'm still playing around here. But I can move my Bitcoin off of Cash App into the exchange pretty easily. So I just go over to my Bitcoin, make sure I can't see that. So here's my Bitcoin on Cash App. It shows me where it's at. I really wanted to buy this yesterday at 130. It dropped down to about 37,000. Now it's back up to about 38. It fluctuates that much, right? So some people are making a lot of money just buying the dips and selling, because that's $1,000 fluctuation. And you could probably do that a lot. That's some people's full time. That's how they make money. 3, 4, 5,000 a day, just buying and selling the dips. That's one way to make money. Another way to make money is some people stake. So you'll see that, and we'll talk about what staking means later on. But basically, you're loaning your money out, essentially. It's the short answer, right? You're letting somebody else hold your money while they loan it, and the interest is way better than it is on a CD. But you can buy and sell and send right through your Cash App. You can buy $1 worth of crypto in your Cash App right now, and watch it move and not have any risk in the game. You got the other $25, now you're $26 in. That's for many of you, that's probably further than you were when you started today, right? So you already in the game. You already right there. Now you just gotta watch and learn and ask questions. Twitter is an excellent resource for that. It's also an excellent resource for a lot of ways to kill time. So I don't recommend it because productivity is a part of manifestation. But if you can get past that lack of productivity and go on Twitter, you can ask questions. Discord is a space that is full of crypto folks, crypto whales, folks that are knowledgeable. There are a lot of places to ask questions, and YouTube has no shortage at all of experts helping us understand this. And you ain't gotta even talk to them. You can just play their video for 5 minutes and learn a little bit. So chew it, then swallow. Okay, that's my advice for today. All right, with that being said, if we don't have any other questions, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to close this one out. And this is the same code that you'll use all day. If you want to share with somebody, please share with them the access link so that they can get access that way, which is myomegirls.com. So that way we also have a way to communicate with them with all the bonus materials. I don't care if you just want to share the link with somebody. I don't want this just to be private information. So I'm fine if like, I don't want to give my email. I just want to show up. I just want to hear and listen. That's fine too. They just won't have access to the replays or anything like that. But if that's all they want, that's fine. I'm not trying to gatekeep anybody's knowledge or anybody's blessings. Let them come, let them come, let them come. All right. That's what we're closing out at for the morning. For the first session, thank you so much for hanging out, for listening to me, for showing up. Yes, we'll talk about fraud and everything. You should not be dealing with anybody. This is a good question. That's not a question, but it should have been, Dorothy. There should have been a question. How do we be careful with who we're dealing with for fraud? No one should have your key. Fraud happens because you thought something felt too good to be true, and it was. Fraud happens because you let someone into your wallet. Fraud happens because you asked someone to set up your wallet, which means they got your key. Fraud happens because you were intimidated and scared, and you didn't want to do the work on your own. Fraud happens because you were lazy in crypto, right? Don't do any of those things. Don't be lazy. Take your time. Just don't rush. Just learn. Chew, and then swallow. No one else should have access to your keys. You ain't giving your keys to your house away, right? Same thing. Don't let anybody in. All right. Next session starts at 10:30. I'll right back here, and we'll see you. Thank you for that question, Dorothy. Good.